If you've always wanted your Bible to be beautiful, then check this out. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. So I saw an ad for this and I was kind of intrigued because I guess I'd never thought about it before, but the ad said something like, do you want your Bible to be as beautiful as a coffee table book or a picture book or something along those lines? And I thought, well, I had never thought of that, but I guess some people probably would, and maybe some people getting introduced to the Bible for the first time just don't want it to look like some sort of old fogey Bible. I don't know. I was just intrigued. So I went to that website, followed the link, went to their site, and found that they make basically the Bible in these printed picture books here. Now, I have not opened this yet, so I'm not sure what to expect. I'm not sure if the images follow the stories or the scripts or whatever, or if it's just meant to look beautiful. But I ordered this Gospel of Matthew right here. It certainly does not look like any Bible I've ever seen, but I thought we would explore this together because if you do have Bibles around, if you don't spend enough time with yours or something like that, and you're just trying to make it more interesting or get people into it that wouldn't normally be interested in it, this might be the thing. So you can order all the different books. I don't know how many you can get together. I don't know if they do like the whole New Testament in one giant book, but I will tell you that the Gospel of Matthew here is actually fairly large. I would call this, 80, 90, 110 pages or something. It's got some thickness to it. It has this matte finish, which is kind of the newer thing in books. You might have seen a lot of paperbacks with a glossy finish, but this is newer. And they also have, got a little schmutz on there, but they also have all sorts of other books, and it's from Alabaster printing. Gospel of Matthew, so like I said, it just does not look like a Bible book. I mean, it looks like some sort of picture coffee table book. In fact, we've got the ocean on there. All right, so if I open it up here and we just take a look at it, again, it's a beautiful looking book, no doubt. The layout here is pretty amazing. Again, there's no captions on anything. I'm assuming some of this is maybe pictures of the Holy Land, and you can see here the look of it is just far more modern, far more clean. Typically in a Bible it'd be small print, all pushed together. You'd have maybe the red print of God speaking. You'd have all your footnotes, but this is just like a book here. I'll tell you what, it's not nearly as intimidating like all of this text, long stories, man, you gotta read a bunch. I would definitely say this looks more bite-sized. You can see just how it's formatted here. Chapter 1, and then and even the verses here are numbered very, very small, very faint. You might be able to see them in there, but you can see 10 Hezekiah and 11 Josiah, right? So you do have all of those. So if you are someone who is referencing the Bible chapter and verse, you can certainly find that. Again, I'm assuming, I'm not that familiar with the text right here, but I see stars, and I'm sure that in some way the images relate. You've got John the Baptist and baptism, and we've got some water images. Again, they're not a real literal type of association or illustration, right? That there's no picture like some models demonstrating a baptism or anything like that. It's really more of like a style thing more than anything. The temptation of Jesus, I think this is when he was wandering the desert. So we have pictures of kind of dry, arid land. So again, this is kind of what I was wondering, how much do the pictures relate? And the nice thing is there are a lot of pictures all over, Sermon on the Mount, so it would be on a mountain. This looks a whole lot like Yosemite or something like that to me. But again, it's just imagery that does relate, but is not necessarily supposed to be indicative of the story, right? It's not the period pictures that you would see like in some of those illustrations where Jesus is sitting in his robe with the children around him and things like this. This is just meant to be more of a modern. It kind of reminds me of like an IKEA catalog in some ways here. So this is what you can kind of expect. Again, very bite-sized, not intimidating in terms of the text. If you grew up with Bibles and you just want something that's modern, maybe you want to give it to someone, someone who maybe is into the Bible or Christianity or religion or something like that, and so they can have something that's sitting out. Maybe that's, nice to display. This definitely looks like this could be it. So this is just a quick walkthrough. I wasn't sure what to expect with this, but I was just intrigued because I had never thought about, restylizing, rebooting the Bible in any way. And I would say that in terms of the text, at about the time that Jesus was walking through some grain fields on the Sabbath. His disciples were hungry. You know, it's not like the King James Version. I don't know if this is NIV or something like that, or nope, it's the New Living Translation. So very modern English. So it's not going to be hard to read either. I just think, what a cool idea. You know, someone's taking, obviously, text that is open source, royalty free, you know, whatever, public domain, however you want to say it, and putting their own spin on it. And I think this would actually appeal to a lot of people, especially for parents maybe trying to get their kids into it. Or, you know, I would say even for me, I probably would not pick up the Gospel of Matthew and read it, but I might be just intrigued enough to see what the pictures are. And like I said, not overly intimidated by the text itself. It would be something I feel like you could read quickly because there's not a lot of text on these pages. And so, yeah, man, you could definitely do it. I just was intrigued by it. I guess if you had told me it would be any book, I mean, whether it's the Bible or anything that we're just so used to being printed in kind of a business-only fashion, right? Just the words on very thin tissue-like paper to cram it all together. Something like this, where it's taking it and making it beautiful and readable and laid out in such a way that you'll recognize it as modern and contemporary and clean. Yeah, it's a great idea. So, Alabaster Press, I'm thinking it was something like that. You can collect the whole set, buy the whole set. I don't know if it's collecting is the right word, but you could definitely get all the books here. It'd probably be really nice to put that on your bookshelf or share it actually at your next Bible study or at your church. So, pretty cool. I'm intrigued by this. Hey, if you want to pick these up because it's going to make you more likely to share the good news or read it yourself, I'll put a link to this in the description below. Peter Von Panda. Out.
We can discover more and explore so much deeper. We can live better than